welcome back to my channel. It's a little rainy today, but I decided to come on out and start gardening for the fall, and I wanted to start growing some herbs inside the house. And so I got some organic basil and organic cilantro, which I'm going to start making, and some spinach. And so the spinach I'm going to grow in a bigger pot, and these guys I'm going to start them off in smaller pots and then transfer them into a longer pot that I'm then going to bring inside the house. This is probably going to stay in, and then the smaller spinach is probably going to go in a bigger pot. That way it can expand and grow a little bit more. So that's what we're going to be planting today. And then I also wanted to share, I've been collecting seeds of other fruits such as peaches and apricots and things like that. So I'm just going to be making a little experiment and seeing if I can grow an apricot tree and similar with the peach and stuff like that. But the first step I think is going to be maybe to dry it, or I might even just start it fresh like this. I just ate it today, the apricot. And so I'm going to probably try drying the peach, seeing how that goes, and then just going straight with the apricot seed and probably just wetting it in a paper towel like this, closing it off and seeing if it sprouts. So that's going to be a little experiment that you guys can follow along with. But to start, I think I'm going to open up this cilantro. So it's a GMO-free organic cilantro. I got it at an Asian market. And so I'm just going to rip the top and make sure that none of the seeds fall out. I can feel one right here. Got stuck up. Okay, great. So I'm gonna probably start with this little guy. Such a tiny, tiny little seed. And so with starting seedlings, you don't want to put it too deep inside the pot. And so I'm just making the tiniest little hole with my finger here. I'm going to put it in and just cover it lightly. Not too direct pushing down or anything like that. That's it. Done. And then I'm going to do probably, I use a lot of cilantro, so I'm probably going to do 3 cilantros and 2 basils. Cilantro is really, really good for everything. It's such a detoxing plant and herb to have. I put cilantro usually in every one of my smoothies. It's definitely a go-to for me. And so I figured, why not grow it myself and be a little bit more independent when it comes to my food? I think that's really, really important for everybody to learn how to garden and care for their own food. And this way as well, you're getting organic and you know where it's coming from, right? There actually aren't that many seeds in this container. I thought there'd probably be more than this, but I think there's about 2 or 3 more left in here, so that makes 6. Wow. It wasn't too bad though. It was, for the price, I think they were $2.39 each. So that's another thing too, guys, is to maybe start considering buying some seeds and just storing them. You don't have to garden right away, but it's always good to just have things like that laying around the house or in your toolbox. And so here for the last little cilantro seed, then I'm going to top them off with some water at the end. Okay, so now I'm going to close this off. I'm going to put it in a plastic baggie inside so that it doesn't get damaged or anything, or we don't lose any of the seeds. This is empty, so that'll go in the recycling bin. And then now on to the basil. Now basil is another really good one. I love basil. Super fresh. You can make your homemade pesto sauce with basil, some pine nuts and olive oil. Okay, so there are actually quite a lot of seeds in this guy. Okay, so my approach to the basil then is probably going to be to add 2 little seeds. Or maybe I'm just being greedy. Maybe I should just do 1. We'll start off with 1, see, and adapt. Okay, so I have to get one. Okay. Oh, these are so cute. I'll show you. They're teeny tiny little babies. I'm gonna do 2, and then another one with just 1. Okay. My instinct is telling me to do more for some reason. You know, I'm just kind of intuitively going at this. I haven't really researched much. And then this guy is going to be another little basil. Okay, so I'm kind of just dropping them, leaving a little bit of room in between each little seedling, and topping it off. All right, so these guys are done. I'm gonna close this. And then last but not least, we have our spinach. These feel like bigger seeds already. So I'm just gonna make sure that they're all dropping at the bottom. Tear open the top. Okay, I should also probably separate these, right? So I know which one's which. Okay, so we've got our cilantro, basil, and spinach. Okay, so, oh wow, these are cool. I'm gonna show you the seed. Oh, interesting. So all these seeds are non-GMO and organic. Look at this. I don't know if it's, okay, I think you can see now. But look at how fun. They're like little distraught seeds. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do 3 in this one. I'm gonna do 1. Again, not too deep, just putting it close to the surface. Then another one here, kind of making like a triangle. Then one last one. Voila. And close it off. Spinach. And then finally, we've got our biggest pot. And then I'm also going to be venturing into other veggies soon. I'm just trying to think of a way of keeping things indoors during the winter. And so with this one here, I think I'm gonna make like a circle with this pot. And then maybe I'm just gonna break up the soil. Okay. Okay, one here. That's maybe a little too deep. There we go. One here. I hope they all turn out well. And then I'll do one last one in the middle. Then I'll top them all up. I'll give you guys a better view of, whoopsies. Oh no. Oh no, where'd it go? I dropped a seed. Oh, I don't want to waste it. Oh, it's on the ground. I got it. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to show you this up close. And so to top it off, here I'll go like this. And you're hardly even putting much soil on top. You're just lightly covering them up. Because they're so fragile and babies, right? You don't really need to like compress it down too much, but you do want them to be covered by the soil. Okay, so I'm gonna get my water and top these up. Okay, so I'm going to send like loving energy to all these little babies. Grow, little guys. Little babies, giving them some love. Okay, and so now we're just gonna top each of them up with some water. That was a little bit too much. Uh-oh, I see the seeds floating up on this one. Okay, so I'm just going to lightly put some more soil on top of it. There we go. All the other ones are covered, which is great. This one seems fine as well. And that one's a little watery, but it'll drain. Okay, now last but not least, this guy. Okay, so this is wetting my towel, which is fine because that was kind of the intention anyways. And so I brought this pot. And so what I'm going to do with the seed is I'm going to transfer it in here. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit like this. I'm going to add more water just to wet the cloth. Okay, make sure that everything's nice and wet, flip it around. Okay, and what I'm gonna do with it is I'm actually gonna cover it up. And I'm gonna leave it outside so that tomorrow when the sun comes out again, the heat is gonna be really good for helping it sprout, I believe. And so I'm just going to place this guy here on my little stand. It's been a very rainy day, so that's gonna hang out there. These are gonna be transferred inside, and then this is actually the pot that they're gonna be going into. So it's kind of stretched out, so I've used a piece of yarn to kind of close it back together. But essentially these are all going to lay down here. So I'm gonna put half on my basil side and the other half is gonna be the cilantro. Okay, so while we're in the spirit of gardening, I figured I'd show you the other plants that I have. So these are two little ivies that I propagated. They're actually little ivy twins that the roots, while I was propagating them, intertwined. So I call them the two twins. And then I'm trying to propagate some more spider plants, or no, sorry, snake plants, so that I can kind of grow more of them. But the fun one is this guy. Look at this. So I've propagated it, and it's actually doing so well. It's got 2 new leaves coming out. It's the only one so far. But yeah, and then I've got my little penny plant and some more ivy here. This ivy as well is really unique. All the leaves seem to fall off and then they grow new ones, which is really interesting. I've never seen the ivy grow like that. Okay, well, thanks for watching, you guys, and I hope that you feel a little bit more inspired to start your own little indoor garden for the fall and winter. I like to do it inside just because the squirrels on my patio get a little haywire with my plants and are pretty destructive in the search for food. And so I don't trust them with some veggies because they'd probably have a field day. And so I hope you all feel inspired to garden as well and have yourselves a beautiful remainder of your weekend. And thanks for tuning in again. Bye, guys. So if you've been following my vlog, the last one we actually propagated these ivy clippings, and they are all rooted and actually coming out with new leaves, so they're ready to be planted. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. Learned a lot from this one. As you can see, I cut a lot of the stem and it's growing here, right? So with the roots, I've learned now that you would probably want to make your cuttings halfway between the roots. And so instead of having the root like here and then the clipping, I'd go the root to be about here. That way you have much more room to put your plant in the soil, so that it can be much more grounded in the soil. But c'est la vie, and we're gonna do that with the next batch. And so I'm just gonna be doing this now, and so stay tuned. Okay, you guys, oops. So I've laid out how I want to coordinate my ivy clippings. And so I am ensuring that the new ivy is going to be facing forward. So each new ivy stem is actually going to be climbing and making its way over the edge. And then same with this guy. This guy is a little bit conjoined now because they grew in the same pot. They were propagating together, so I guess they're conjoined twins. It's pretty cute. But these guys I'm going to put at the center here, and their ivies are going to be coming over the edge a little bit sooner than the rest. And same with this ivy with the leaf. And so there's a new little baby coming out here. And so this one will eventually go over the edge as well. And perhaps I'll do this one as well, actually. I might do this one at the front as well. That way it's a little bit more symmetric. So we have two of the same in the front, and those are going to be the first ivies that are going to climb with these ones. And then I have all of these ivies. I might actually throw in another one of the twins at the front. There's another little Siamese twinning happening here. So I might go like this, twins, 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 single, and then these single ivies laid out. Whoopsies. This one actually has a leaf, so this one's going to be in the middle here. And then these ivies are all kind of going to be evenly distributed. And so I'm going to make a time lapse so you can watch along. These guys haven't really rooted yet, so I'm going to add more water to them and keep an eye out, and maybe plant these guys a little bit later. And we're going to make a different pot with these ivy clippings. And so stay tuned for the time lapse. Okay, so here are the ivies all laid out in the pot. And so this is eventually going to come inside in the wintertime and hang out on my banister.